All right, you are watching the rest of the story, and we did go ahead and pull the Vernig gravel bucket out of the back of the machine shed. A little bit of concern from some viewers wondering where it went. We just really haven't had a whole lot of use for it. I have, and I probably still will, use this for cleaning up bed pack, and it does a really nice job, but in the end, this is really just a brush slash rock bucket attachment for the skid steer. I really do like Vernig, and I'm probably going to look into some other attachments for the skid steer. Two in particular, I would like to get a actual manure grapple, so the actual tines that are underneath and the tines that actually come down on the grapple are meant for pulling bed pack and corn fodder, for cleaning and tearing that off. This machine or this implement attachment works really great for that, but the tines are so close together that they do like to pack full of that heavy clay if you do get out onto some bedding that wasn't put on concrete. If it's on concrete, it really isn't that much of an issue. So we are in the process of getting ready to go out and pick rocks because one of Ryan's fields that was in corn last year, he has decided he's going to seed it down. And we do know that it has a couple areas of rocks, and that's exactly what we're going to go ahead and do. Ryan went out with the 82 and the Earthmaster. He started working the field up because it's a lot simpler. We've discovered that, especially after we were already out there when Ryan was also working, and trying to pick rocks up with the bucket here out of the standing residue that hasn't been worked. It takes a little bit more to actually dig down, and you pick up more of the corn residue with the bucket. It doesn't want to really sift out through the bucket as nicely as it really should. So when Ryan went through and opened the soil up, it's soft underneath, and let's just face it, it's a little tacky. So he only really hit it once with the intention of opening the soil up, working in some of this residue, and hopefully it's going to help it dry out here. They're calling for rain. We had a couple showers. Actually, we worked right through two different sporadic rain showers while we were doing this, and then they are calling for a chance of thunderstorms the next day or two. So hopefully it's beneficial at this point to actually go ahead and work some of this ground up, and it'll let it dry out once the sun and the heat comes back, because I do believe they're calling for some warmer than average temperatures. So this bucket, and I'm talking more about the Vernig and actually picking up rocks than the actual picking of rocks, but this bucket does a really nice job at what it does. It's a destruction bucket, it's a manure bucket, it's a rock picking bucket, it's a brush destroying bucket or clearing. But it has to be put on the right machine. The Bobcat that we are using it on today does a really nice job to a degree of using this attachment. But the only problem is that it's a heavy grapple bucket, and the problem is that when you add that to the lift capacity of the 773 Bobcat, when you add the actual weight of the attachment plus whatever you're attempting to pick up, you can actually max out the lift capacity pretty easily, and you're limited in that way with the Bobcat. But when we had it on the JCB, it turns it into a little bit of a bulldozer, just because you really aren't limited by too much when you're actually trying to pick stuff up and push stuff, and it really does a nice job. I've used this bucket also for leveling out gravel, smoothing out gravel, because if you push it flat on the ground and you push it along like freshly turned gravel, it allows it to fall down through the tines, and it really leaves a nice roadway. It's just with the incredible amount of abundance of rain we've been getting, it's been difficult to keep your driveway intact. Even the driveway at home at the home farm and my place are showing scars from last year, but I do plan on getting them cleaned up. Now, if you watch the skid steer here as it's working, you are seeing the dirt actually being able to fall down through it when Dad's scooping up rocks. So it's tried and true exactly what this bucket is supposed to be doing. This right here is why I purchased this bucket. Originally, we only had just the bucket. We had it sent down as kind of a demo thing where we'll let you use it and kind of showcase the Vernig attachment. And I liked the bucket, but it didn't have the grapple on it. So when they came down and called me back and asked, hey, are you done with the attachment? Absolutely. Do you have one with the grapple? Of course we do. Bring it down. And that's pretty much how I acquired this bucket. And I like it. It's heavy. It's built heavy. And I've done probably more than I really should have at this point with it. But it holds up really well. It hasn't... The metal itself is very much intact. The only issue I have with it is probably with most attachments is the hoses, especially going between the Bobcat and the JCB and where the hookups are on the different machines. The hoses tend to get chewed up. I just saw that tonight. Didn't realize that where it's currently at on the Bobcat, I think they need to just be shortened up a little bit, to be honest, because there's a lot of slack there. But part of the hose, one of them, did get chewed up a little bit. And that is the barge box, and that box dumping onto one of our tubes that we have in our pasture. Actually, the field is just in the upper right there. So we actually went ahead and had to move some more dirt. We really got to fill this in, but we also had to get back to the farm. And working in the rain, it was pretty soft to the point of really trying to do too much dirt work as it is. But I should be picking up the camera anytime here. It gives you guys a little bit of a better angle of what we're doing. But this is, as I say, another scar from the amount of rain we got last year. The water coming from the left upstream and coming down through the fields. It's hitting this tube, and you can see it was working away at the soil on this tube. I don't know if we will get to it, but I got to fill the rest of that dirt in when we get a chance. So I don't know, probably back to machine shed work. I really want to get that sprayer worked on if I get around to it, get a chance to work on it. But as always, you guys know this is the rest of the story. Not as good as Paul Harvey, I admit, but I really do respect listening to Paul growing up. I mean, that's where this channel's name came from. So with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. At this point in time, with where everything's going, it really does help, just being honest with you. So until next time, probably tomorrow, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I will talk to you then.